think about being a woman, a strong woman, an author who speaks, strongly about so many things, especially history, and is attempting to not rewrite, but bring about a new perspective in how we understand our history.
I would also say rewrite, Pujita. Some things need to be rewritten.
Right. Of course, I agree. So, what is your thought? What are your thoughts on the so-called feminist movement?
So,
Uh,
upfront, I completely and fundamentally disagree with feminists. Feminist ideology is an import from a totally alien system. It
Correct.
started with the chaos in Europe,
Hmm.
started around the French Revolution. It
Hmm.
is centered around the issues and problems faced by Christian European women.
Hmm.
And often it does not have a clue about anything else.
Hmm.
So the first wave came. There were things like suffrage, things like right
Yes.
to work. Christian women did not have any rights over their own body, over their own children, over anything at all. Now this is not true of all women across the world, but they have universalized the
Hmm.
experience of Christian European women to the entire world.
Correct.
It is something, and our academics is me too. If something happens in Harvard, then people in Delhi University will rush to do it.
Correct.
So it's really, there's no originality, there's no thinking. Indian academics is in a very, very deep and sad and dark hole,
Very. Very.
and it's not doing anything new to understand our own society. After all, what is academics for? It's not just so that you become a professor and you earn a salary. You are to throw light on society. You are to look at our own problems in our own way. Now we have a lot of women in India who face a whole set of problems, but can we understand those set of problems and find a solution for those set of problems in feminist ideology? No. In fact, I do a lot of work on this. And
Hmm.
again, along with Indica, we just had a conference in Guwahati.
Hmm.
The entire focus of that conference was to look at women the Indic way,
Hmm.
to look at women in our own way. I don't like the word feminism, but for the moment, I use the word with the prefix Indic feminism,
Hmm.
or maybe Indic femininity.
Hmm. Hmm.
Indic femininity and Indic women have a strong core of strength.
Hmm.
That strength is missing in any other culture.
Correct.
We don't live in an ideal society either today or ever. But if we are to compare ourselves with other societies, our situation was much, much, much better, even during the time of the Arthashastra. In fact,
Hmm.
Pujita, if we were just to go back to the way women were treated in the Arthashastra, we would be living in a kind of paradise
Wow.
in terms of security, in terms of rights. Kautilya also, by the way, allows for divorce, a kind of divorce by mutual consent.
Oh, very interesting.
Yes, so the Arthashastra on women, if we could, even put all those principles to work today, we would be very much better off. Because
Hmm.
what has happened to us is that a lot of our own Hindu Indic ideas have been overlaid by Victorian, Christian, and Islamic ideas about women.
Very true.
And it has made an unholy mess. But even within that unholy mess, as an Indian woman, I feel so much more empowered, secure, and of having my own place
Hmm.
than the European women I see over here. Say, for example, France. France is supposed to be, the hub of liberalism.
Progressive.
Yeah. French men are perhaps the most sexist and chauvinist in the entire world. And it is a 50-60% of people who get married get divorced in France. It's impossible to live with a French man. And I have some French friends, so their ideas about marriage and what is their role in the household and what they should do and what their wife should do is just, well, it makes for wonderful listening, and it's absolutely impossible to do.
Correct.
Because they think that if she does all the work and every Friday they bring her a bunch of flowers and say something nice, that's enough. Don't need to do anything else.
Correct.
So the sum and substance is that feminism has also evolved into something which has become absolutely toxic.
Correct.
It has become aggressive, toxic, and it is my life's mission to wean young women back from toxic femininity, toxic feminism to Indic feminism,
Oh,
where we don't think only about me, but
yes,
me in the context of family and society.
correct.
It's not just I'm not the center of the world, and it's just not just me who matters, but everyone in my family and society matters. So this kind of selfishness, this focus on me, I'm afraid it has got out of hand. It scares me when I
Very
talk
scary.
to young
Very
women.
scary.
It scares me.
In fact, Sumedha ji, I'm so glad you spoke so eloquently on this, because as you were speaking, there were so many thoughts that were buzzing in my head, so many associations. For example, the kind of routinely how the images that we are bombarded with in popular culture. For example, the movies that are being made lately, even in regional cinema, you find that the moment you want to portray a city bred young woman and you want to show her as being strong or empowered, you have to show her with a cigarette. You have to show that she
With
parties hard
alcohol.
and parties late, and she is sexually promiscuous.
Yes.
Not that I have a problem with any of these three, but my point is, why is this being put up or projected as the ideal, strong,
As a
empowered
role model,
woman?
yeah, as a role. So I always wear saris.
Correct.
Saris are the ultimate sign of being a regressive woman, apparently. So if you wear a sari, you're just stupid, old
Yes.
fashioned, you don't know anything.
Yes.
So I don't get it. What I wear is not what I am. What is inside here is different from what I'm wearing.
Correct.
But you kind of associate something with something, and then you also try to say that you must never wear a sari. Now, I have worked for the United Nations, and I have always worn saris and gone to the office. I
Correct.
may be the only woman amongst 1,000 people or amongst 500 people in those large meetings that you have wearing a sari, but I will be there wearing a sari because that's my dress. I feel comfortable in that.
Correct.
So, how
Correct.
can I not wear it? So this kind of typification, in terms of clothes, in terms of behavior, in terms of language, I am not an admirer of abusive language, and I never will be. I
Correct.
think abusive language is completely sexist,
Correct.
and it just rains all kinds of sexual violence on people who you don't like. So I don't understand why that is yet another marker of
Hmm.
the progressive and liberated woman.
Correct. Correct.
All
Correct. Very
these things
true.
are very toxic, Pujita. We need to speak up against them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you mentioned this thing about how in the Western world, especially outside, not in India too, that is changing. Though, if you go to more sort of more sophisticated, so-called urban environments, women, the more more westernized your attire, the more modern you're perceived to be.
Yes, yes, of course.
And
And
but
I read articles about why you should not wear saris in the office. 7 reasons why you should not wear a
correct,
sari in the
correct,
office.
correct.
Rubbish
In
is
fact,
that.
I remember there was in an institution that I was working at, we had somebody come and give us a lecture, sort of like a talk on how the working woman, ought to project herself as a strong woman in the work environment. And one of the things, because we are in the South, this lady walked in, if you please, in a short skirt, a tight skirt. Not that I had a problem with that, but she came in and she was talking about how South Indian women wear flowers, and they have a tendency to wear jewelry, and all
So
of
all
this
that
is
was bad. All
yes,
that was bad.
yes,
Oh my God, I love it so much.
exactly. So this is the kind of these are the kind
But
of ideas
Pujita,
that are
tell
being
me, did
propagated.
anyone object to this kind of nonsense or no?
I did, and there
Yeah.
was another very spirited
I'm glad.
lady who, along with me, said that, but that's our culture, and
Yeah.
why should that be a
Yeah,
problem?
and I feel beautiful when I wear a sari and when I
Exactly,
put flowers in my hair. I love
exactly,
it.
exactly. So
So
aren't
yesterday I
aren't
went for a party with lots of very, very fancy women. So I had just done my puja and I had all this chandan on my head. I went
right?
like that
Correct.
because that's the way I was. You should never, these people who come and give lectures, how can they teach us to be ashamed of things that we do?
Exactly, exactly. So but that was really a moment where we shared about our experiences, and I think, like you rightly pointed out, as women, it's important that we start also, denouncing these views when they're put
Yes,
forward to us. It's very
yes,
important.
exactly.
um
Well, many people will feel things inside but not speak up. So I invite everyone who's listening, please speak up.
yes,
When you feel these things as negative and insulting, speak up,
yes,
and speak up politely and just tell
yes.
them that this is something that we do and we love it. It's our culture.
It's our culture. No, I mean, there is so much brouhaha in the world about hijab. That's fine. That's supposed to be their culture. But then you can't wear a sari and a bindi and flowers in your hair. You're supposed to be apologetic about that all of a sudden.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.